The word basil comes from the Greek word basikon, which means king. Basil is highly valued in Ayurvedic medicine as a protector both of mental and physical health. With its crisp aroma, it clears and refreshes the mind, helps to calm anxiety, and combats exhaustion and depression. It eases aches and pains and can especially help with rheumatic pain. It also tones and balances skin and is especially good for acne-prone skin. Oil. Let's have a look what are the properties and benefits and uses of basil essential oil. Always, as I said, we always look at the chemical profile, so if you know what kind of chemical profile it has, then you will have like a good idea what it actually does. So it has like about 50% alcohol, 25% phenols, and 50% monoterpenes. So what is this telling me? 50% the alcohol means like it's a stimulant, so it speeds up any kind of good processes. Also has a pleasant scent and it's a good antibacterial oil. With phenols are also the workhorses of the aromatherapy, so definitely not to be used on a daily basis or regular basis. So they're also regarded as stimulants, so also they just speed up any kind of body process. So if whatever it's sluggish, that will be speeded up. So they're generally also considered to be a highly antiseptic, antioxidant, analgesic, so pain killing. So wherever you need pain to be relieved, you would want to use basil. Also good antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal oils, and also good nerve tonic and general tonics. So, and also it's efficient in decreases like the blood come to the surface of your body. So let's have a look what is this good for. So as I already mentioned, it's a stimulant, tonic, and antibacterial oil. So it's really good for coughs and colds and sinus problems, and also it's a good hormonal balancer. So it's good if you have like scanty periods. It's also good as a nerve tonic, so it's good for to help your sleep. So you definitely want to include that into your sleeping blend, or just to calm your nerves. So, and it's also good skin toner and balances the skin as well. So it blends very well with pretty much all citrus fruits, and it's also nice with geranium and neroli and frankincense. So this is what it has to be said about the basil. It's a good nerve calming oil, a good antibacterial, antifungal oil, and it's quite uplifting as well. So if you feel down, then you want to definitely include that basil into your blends. Benzoin is a traditional ingredient in incense, and today the oil is often added to skin creams for its antiseptic, healing, and calming properties. It's a marker for broken skin and for dry and mature skin, and eczema and psoriasis, and can also be used on acne-prone skin. It also helps heal cuts and wounds. It also eases aches and pains, improves in circulation, and can also loosen stiff muscles if used in a massage blend. Benzoin has calming effect on the mind and can help ease depression. So let's have a look what is benzoin all about, and what does it do, and what are the benefits, and what are the best uses. So first of all, I just love benzoin because it has like a really nice vanilla like aroma, and I love vanilla, so I include it almost in all of my perfumes because of the pleasant scent. And also it's really good for the skin because it is really wound healing. And when we look at the chemical profile, it's usually 70% esters and 15% acids. And what does ester do? They're like generally regarded as calming, uplifting, and balancing. And acids, they're also regarded as calming. So you can see it's a really good oil to use for psoriasis or any kind of chapped skin, any broken skin. It's good for asthma, stress, depression, nightmares. It warms the heart physically, energetically. So as I said, it's a fixative in perfume because of it makes the perfume last longer. And it's good for rheuma and stiff muscle because it really gives this warmth. So wherever you need to have like a warmth, then you need to add the benzoin. And it's really amazing. I love it like in skincare because it gives like really this comforting feel. And I just really feel like I'm just healing my skin by applying it to my face. So it blends very well with citrus for us. I love to blend it with rose and sandalwood. So let's have a look where I usually like to use it. So you can add it to your itchy scalp and the shampoo, to help your scalp from itching. You just add a couple of drops, 5 drops to 100 milliliters of shampoo. Then you can also add it to diffuser to clear congestion. It's also good oil, like to if you have any coughs. It really relieves the coughs as well if you actually apply it directly to your chest. So it's good for the as a base. It's good for mature and broken skin in creams. So I like to blend it as well with geranium and rose, and also like to add sandalwood. So they're really kind of good oils to get rid of wrinkles and lines. And also I really love to use it for eczema or for psoriasis. So like especially mixed with benzoin and bergamot. So it's a really good oil to heal the broken skin. This is what I have to say about the benzoin oil. It's not particularly must-have oil, but if you are an aromatherapist, then you should definitely have this oil in your kit, especially if you are treating lots of people with broken skin. So I would definitely recommend it to add to your aromatherapist kit. Bergamot is another aromatherapy favorite and is named after the Italian city of Bergamo. You might also recognize the aroma from sipping your favorite tea, namely the Earl Grey tea. This is also an adaptogenic and balancing oil for the mind and the body, and its fruity aroma helps to lift low mood, ease anxiety, and help with depression. Being soothing and cooling, the bergamot is ideal for dry and itchy skin conditions such as eczema and psoriasis, especially when it's combined with benzoin. So let's have a look what the bergamot essential oil has in store for us. We're looking at the properties, benefits, and uses. So to start with, I have to say I love bergamot. It's just the scent alone. I just could sniff it all day long and I would be in nirvana. So like even you should just get the bergamot for the scent alone. It really is actually so uplifting. So nothing really picks me up as a bergamot essential oil. So to start with, we're always, as usual, looking at the chemical profile. So it has like a 50% esters, 33% monoterpenes, and 80% alcohols. So what is this telling us straight away with esters? First, with 50% esters, it means it's a calming, uplifting, and balancing oil. Exactly what the bergamot oil is. Monoterpenes are also antiviral, antifungal, and stimulating and soothing, and somewhat diuretic, and alcohols are regarded also as a stimulant. That just means it speeds up bodily functions. But as I say, it's mostly ester, so it's regarded as calming, uplifting, and balancing. And as you can see here, I have it in my properties. It is like a primarily uplifting and antidepressant. It's adaptogenic oil, so it can relax or stimulate you according to the needs. It is good for skin conditions such as psoriasis. Can reduce scars over time. It aids digestion. Helpful for boils, cold sores, cystitis, and fevers. It's antiviral and antiseptic, but it's also photosensitive, so avoid sun for 24 hours or use bergaptine-free essential oils labeled as bergamot FCV, which is basically furocomarine, and coumarines are generally found mostly in expressed oils, and they're like too big to pass through the skin immediately like a swimmer, so they basically sit in on the skin and sip through the skin and sip and still gonna go through. So this is the reason why they're not quickly absorbing, so they just can sit on the skin for a long time, and when the sun comes on your skin you can get blisters. So don't go into sun or get the FCF essential oil for this. So the blend actually really nicely with all essential oils, so I really like it with benzoin, especially if I'm making a psoriasis or a eczema blend, and they're also nice with lavender and neroli and sandalwood and vetiver. So it's another oil that you definitely should have in your kit. And let's see what I'm be using it for. So these are two of my recipes, so I just really love it for stress relief, for sleeping aid, and a sleep inhaler. So you just add like a couple of drops of bergamot, lavender and sandalwood. So it's a really nice uplifting blend. And if you don't know, I also have a video how to do the stick inhaler if you don't know how to do that. And also here's my psoriasis eczema blend. So calendula infused oil is really good with coconut oil, and then 5 drops of bergamot and 3 drops of benzoin. And you can see like this very low concentration, because you don't really want to irritate the skin more, you want to give the skin time to heal. So like when it comes to broken skin, actually less is more, so you should definitely start with a small concentration and then increase it if necessary. But in my experience it was always better to have like low concentration than higher concentration. So this is what can be said about bergamot. Do you need this in your kit? I would say yes, even just for its uplifting and antidepressant qualities. It's really nice oil just to pick you up at the end of a long day. So you definitely need this in your kit. Pepper is especially known for its warming and rubeficient properties in aromatherapy, and it's often used in perfumery to add a warm, deep and spicy note to the perfumes. Studies have also shown that black pepper might help in smoking cessation. Black pepper is probably one of the best oils for treating any kind of muscular problems and to remove lactic acid from the body when used in a massage blend, for example. It's a good oil to include in your muscle blend. So of its warming qualities, it also can help ease arthritis, rheumatism, and poor circulation, of course. So let's have a look what the black pepper has in the store for us. Let's have a look at the properties, benefits, and the uses. So I have to admit, it's probably not of my favorite oils to use in aromatherapy. I'm not kind of keen on this kind of sharp aroma, so I hardly ever use it. I would only really use it if I'm using it for somewhere where I would need like lots of warmth. Massage onto the skin, it dilates blood vessels and produces localized redness and warmth, which relieves aching and tired muscles. And this would be helpful with all muscular aches and pains or strains and poor muscle tone or muscle stiffness. So it's a really, really good muscle blend. Let's have a look at the profile. So 60% monoterpenes, 30% sesquiterpenes, and 4% ketones. So monoterpenes, what do they do? So they are generally antioxidants, analgesic. So that means pain-killing. So it's a good pain-killing oil, and antibacterial, antifungal, and also stimulating and soothing, but also diuretic. So it just expels excess water from your body. And sesquiterpenes, they are like regarding as balancing and calming. Some are slightly hypotensive, that just means they reduce blood pressure. They're anti-inflammatory and astringent, that just means they shrink tissues. And 4% of ketones, and ketones are regarded as cooling. So and also they're like good analgesic oils. Definitely not to be used with prolonged use, because they can be neurotoxic, and they should be used with caution in pregnancy. But they are good. They're congestant oil, they're emengog, chalagogic, choleric, carminative, mucolytic, lipolytic. As I said, I like to use it for muscular ailments, so I just like to add a couple of black pepper, maybe like with some other blends as well. So that would never be my only blend. And also it's good for smoking cessation because it has like this kind of smoky scent. So if you just add 12 drops of essential oil in a stick inhaler and you just inhale it, you can go back and have a look how to create those in stick inhalers. I have it also on my YouTube channel, and yeah, it kind of has this smoky kind of scent, like those vaporizing machines, whatever they are. And it's also a good blend for cold and flu because it reduces fever. So it's good to add it with eucalyptus and lavender. So this is basically what it has to be said about the black pepper. Possibly not my favorite oil to have, and if I don't have it in my kit, I'm not gonna die. And as I said, you only need like a smallest amount, so one bottle would probably last you a long time, and it's very inexpensive oil to have. So if you have space in your kit, please add it, but as I said, it's not a must have in my kit. Carrot seed oil is especially wonderful for the skin. It tones tissues and adds elasticity, and it's especially good for prematurely aging skin, and also it's really good to age. It's very good to fade age spots. It also helps with the detoxification process of the body, so it may be helpful to add a couple drops to massage blends for treating rheumatism, gout, or arthritis. The only caution would be not to use carrot seed oil during pregnancy or while breastfeeding. And the reason for that is that the scientists have found that carrot seed oil has remarkable cancer properties, as actually can cut off the blood supply to the cancerous cells. So you can only imagine why you now cannot use it during pregnancy, because they're gonna think, well, if it can cut off the supply to the cancerous cells, then actually it might cut off the supply, the blood to the baby as well. So do not use it in pregnancy. Oil. What can carrot seed essential oils do for us? What are the properties and benefits, and what are the best uses? Let's have a look. So carrot seed oil. So let's have a look at the chemical profile as usual. So 26% alcohols, 22% monoterpenes, and 16% sesquiterpenes. What does this oil do? So alcohols are regarded as stimulants, so they're good for skin. They have a pleasant scent. They're good antibacterial oils. Monoterpenes are also good antioxidants, somewhat analgesic, that means like slightly pain-killing, also antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, and stimulating and soothing and diuretic oils. And sesquiterpenes are generally regarded as balancing and calming. So they're slightly hypotensive, means they reduce blood pressure, and they're somewhat anti-inflammatory and astringent oils. That just means shrinks tissues. So what is the oil then good for? As expected, it's a good oil for detoxifying. It's a good diuretic oil, so if you have excess water in your body and you want to get rid of it, so it's a good oil to include. And also it's good for skin problems and lines and wrinkles. Is it my favorite oil? Possibly not, but as I said, the scent is quite pleasant, slightly powdery, but it's not an oil that I would be using often. So what I've been using this for as an after sun remedy. It's really good because it's really hydrating and it heals like broken skin. So if you mix it aloe vera gel and carrot seed oil and lavender and vetiver, it's a nice cooling oil and also soothing. And also good oil for, as I said already, for stretch marks and wrinkles. So if you mix it with almond oil and rosehip oil and add frankincense and myrrh, you will have a good anti-aging oil. So do you need this oil in your kit? Not particularly. As I said, there's like a lot of other oils that will do the same thing. For example, lavender being the one, do you need it in your kit? Possibly not. So you might as well, especially you use this oil with caution in pregnancy. So to be on the safe side, you don't particularly need it in your kit. So if you're kind of limited for space, you don't need to carry this one around. But as I said, not a bad oil, but you know, they are just better oils, and it's probably not one of my favorites. Chamomile is mostly known as the chamomile tea that you usually would drink if you have an upset stomach or you need to calm down your nerves and sleep better. And essential oil is pretty much used in the same way to calm things down, be it an upset stomach, anxious mind, or broken skin or skin breakouts. Chamomile is very rich in the chemical component camothene, which gives chamomile its calming and toning properties. Chamomile promotes restful sleep and is very effective in healing skin conditions such as eczema, psoriasis, or acne. There are three chamomile types used in aromatherapy, namely Chamomilium nobile, also known as Roman chamomile. This is it's milder than the German chamomile and is better suitable for children and elderly. Chamomile recutita, also known as German chamomile. This is a good mild painkiller due to the high content of bisabol. And third, the Ormanis mixta, also known as Moroccan chamomile. This is a chamomile that's considered inferior to Roman and German chamomile, and it's mostly used for its scent and sometimes also to treat menstrual pain. So let's have a look what this chamomile essential oil good for and how you can use it for the best benefits. So we will be starting off, as I have said, there are like three species. So it is a Roman chamomile, Chamomile nobile, German chamomile, Chamomile recurtita, and Moroccan chamomile, which is Ormanis mixta. So let's have a look. Let's start with the Roman chamomile essential oils and see what is this all about. So when we are looking, I always start, as I said, with the chemical profile, and we can see immediately it has 75% esters. And what is that telling me? That this is esters are generally regarded as calming, uplifting, and balancing oil. So it's a really good everyday oil for prevention. It's good for skin, and they generally have a nice smell. So as you can, when you have a look at the Roman chamomile profile, you can see that it is like a calming oil, good for arthritis, eczema, insomnia, indigestion, stress, and it's a good oil for elderly and children, as it's milder and sweeter, and it's also good for sleep. So, and just generally a good everyday oil as well. So it blends well with all citrus oils, and it's really nice with clary sage, gives like a really nice herbal aroma, and I also like to add a bit of a geranium, and it's also nice with lavender. So it's a good everyday oil to calm anything down. So be it for any kind of skin, for any broken kind of skin, or like upset stomach. So that's definitely my go-to oil. So let's have a look at the German chamomile. So when we look at the oxide, it has a 30% oxides, 35% sesquiterpenes, and 20% alcohols. So what is this telling me? That this is still a good oil, like a good and calming, balancing oil, but it's just kind of and with alcohols, they're also regarded as a stimulant, so it's slightly more stimulating. So stimulant just means it speeds up bodily functions. So when we have a look at the properties, you can see that this is a calming oil, so good for any kind of fungal infections, mouth ulcers, thrush, aches and pains, burns, and digestion, and period pains. So it's a really good mild painkiller. especially given to the component Basil. It's mostly actually to that. And also there's like another constituent, Camucine, which gives actually the blue color to the chamomile. And the funny thing is that Camucine and the blue color actually happens during the distillation. So the blue color is not actually like it's just a chemical process basically. So the oil turns out blue, but it's usually not blue when, let's say, macerated or something. So which one do you need? Like German chamomile has like a more herbal scent, almost medicinal, whereas Roman chamomile would have like a nice kind of soft smell, almost like a fresh apples. Kind of, if you ever have smelled chamomile tea, so that's the way Roman chamomile smells. German chamomile, I prefer actually the smell of Roman chamomile to German chamomile. It almost kind of makes me sick in my stomach. So Moroccan chamomile essential oil is not as often used as the two other oils, and it actually has like a completely different scent. It smells almost like it smells almost like apples, like almost floral. Really good oil for menstrual cramps. So for example, if you have a menstrual cramp and you just put like 1 drop of it in your navel, that actually would relieve the menstrual cramps. So you can do this before your period, for example, starts. And let's have a look at the chemical profile. 41% alcohols. What does this mean? It's definitely a stimulant. As I said, it speeds up body processes, and they're also good for skin. They have generally pleasant scent and are really good antibacterial oils. They're also good oil for anxiety and depression and any kind of skin problems or digestive disorders. So of all of those 3 oils, which one would you really need? Is probably Roman chamomile would be probably the most versatile. And then I definitely would get the Moroccan chamomile just for the menstrual cramps, pretty much. Really, it would actually I would get it just for the menstrual cramps. But this is basically what has to be said about the chamomile. It's a calming, uplifting, and balancing. So if you ever have any upset stomach or any kind of upset skin issues, then definitely I would add this to your blend. Cedarwood is a tall tree that grows in Atlas Mountains in Algeria. The tree is valued for scented wood in furniture, and it's also one of the first oils that has been used in ancient Egypt for mummification purposes. Cedarwood is often used in masculine perfumes and aftershaves, and has excellent astringent and antiseptic properties. So this is why they're included in aftershave, because it kind of helps heal the cut. It's another good oil to be used for dry eczema and dermatitis. Cedarwood is also a powerful decongestant, and it really can help loosen mucus during attacks of bronchitis, coughs and cold, or any other kind of congestive conditions. And also can help these that are suffering from depression, especially from stress-related problems. Let's have a look what the cedarwood has in store for us. So we're looking at the properties, benefits, and best uses. So just start with, I have to say, I love cedarwood. Just the smell of it can put me really to sleep. And it really is one of my favorite essential oils. So that's already enough said. This is all you need to know. Only joking, of course. So first things first, we are looking at the chemical profile. So it is 50% sesquiterpenes. What does this mean for us? This oil we know immediately is balancing and calming. It's slightly hypotensive, anti-inflammatory, and good astringent. It means it shrinks tissues. Yay! And 29% alcohols, meaning they are also regarded as stimulant. What is a stimulant? It increases bodily functions, also good for skin. They usually like a nice scent, as I have already said, and it's a good and antibacterial oil. But there's another thing, a downside, it's 90% ketones. what do the ketones do? They are generally regarded as cooling, but they have to be used with caution because they can be a bit neurotoxic, and they should be also used with caution in pregnancy. But generally, they will be analgesic, antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, good decongestant oil, emmengo, choleric, carminative, mucolytic, like they basically get rid of mucus, lipolytic means they actually get rid of your fats, sedative, and wound healing and scar healing. So what is the oil used for? So it's good for stress and good for skin. It's a detoxifying oil, so it's good also to get excess water from your body. Anti-inflammatory, it's good for skin infections, it's good for your respiratory system, and it's good for hair loss. It's really good for your hair generally, so that's a good oil to add to any kind of hair blends. So it blends really nicely with benzoin, bergamot, cypress, frankincense, juniper, lavender, lemon, and rosemary. So I also like to substitute sandalwood, cedarwood, because it's almost kind of similar to sandalwood in the scent, but obviously not as expensive as sandalwood be, and readily available as well. So let's have a look what I like to use it for. I love to use it for a massage blend, so mixed with bergamot and frankincense. It's really nice and uplifting blend, and also cedarwood is also good male hormone balancer. So like, you know, if you have like a male client to massage, so it's really nice to mix with lemon and juniper. It's like a really nice masculine scent. So do you need a cedarwood in your kit? I would say definitely yes, because it's an inexpensive oil and it's really good for so many things. So that's definitely a yes for me, and I would not want to be without cedarwood, even just for the scent. Like, you know, when I'm in front of the fireplace, I like to add a couple of drops to my oil burner, so that just intensifies all this relaxing experience. So you definitely need this one in your kit. Clary sage is renowned for uplifting the mind and the emotions, and it can lift depression and calm nerves. It's also a powerful muscle relaxant, and it can revive tired muscles and ease aches and pain. It can also boost circulation when added to massage blends, so this is especially good oil if you're always suffering or if you always have cold hands and feet. Clary sage is also a great hormone balance and relieve menstrual pains and labor pain. It's also beneficial to be used in menopause, especially for anxiety and hot flashes. So what are the properties, benefits, and uses of clary sage? Let's have a look, shall we? So first thing first, as usual, we will be looking at the chemical profile. It has 70% esters, 20% alcohols, some sesquiterpenes, and a bit of monoterpenes. So what does this mean for us? 70% esters. That means this oil is calming, uplifting, and balancing. It's a good oil for everyday use, just for prevention. It's good for skin, and it definitely will have like a pleasant herbal scent. The effects of esters are like antifungal, anti-inflammatory, antispasmodic, cell-generating, nervine, sedative, and they're like vulnerary, meaning they have like a good wound healing properties. So basically, what is the oil good for? So it's a good hormone balancer. So if someone has like a lot of breakouts, so that would be definitely good oil together with geranium to use, and chamomile, just to balance out the hormones and bring them back into balance. So it's a good oil as well for period cramps and PMS. It's a good antidepressant. It's generally good oil to balance young women's hormones. So it just says emotional balance and nerve tonic. So I suppose that goes hand in hand with the hormonal imbalance. It's also a diuretic oil. It's a good uplifting oil, and it's a nice muscle relaxant. So it's a good oil to have in massage blends as well. It blends very well with all citrus oils. I love it with, especially with geranium and chamomile. These are my favorite blends. But it's also good with Cypress, or frankincense and geranium, lavender, and it's very nice with lavender as well. It gives like a really nice herbal scent, or marjoram. It's another kind of favorite. So it's a nice herbal scent to use in a massage blend. So let's have a look what I use it for. So I use it mostly like base, as I said, to remove menstrual cramps. So you can just mix it with Moroccan chamomile, or you can use German chamomile. You could also use Roman chamomile if you don't have the Moroccan chamomile, together with Clary sage if you massage it on your stomach. So that will relieve the menstrual cramps. And also it's nice, as I already have said, it's a nice blend to have like in a muscle blend, so together with the lavender and black pepper. So this will definitely relieve stiff muscles and boost circulation. Now this is the $1,000,000 question: do you need Clary sage in your kit? I would say yes, you do, because it's a really inexpensive oil and very versatile, very good hormone balance, good for skin, good for muscle tone, and it's, as I said, very inexpensive. So you have this essential oil in your kit. Clove bud oil is mostly known for its pain-killing property. Sure, you have used at some point of time in your life to treat toothache, and also it's one of the ingredients in the hot toddy. And basically with 90% of phenols, clove is a workhorse in aromatherapy, and it really can relieve pain very quickly. It's good for coughs and colds, and it can clear congestion quickly when it's actually used in the hot toddy, for example. Clove bud oil also has a relaxing and comforting aroma, especially when it's mixed with rose oil, which I actually like. For what are the properties and benefits and uses? Let's have a look, shall we? So, chemical profile as usual. So, 90% phenols. What does this mean? Immediately use with caution. What are phenols are the workhorses of aromatherapy, and they're regarded as very strong stimulant. So that means it decreases any kind of body processes, so not to be used on a regular basis. They're like highly antiseptic, highly antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. They're generally tonic and really good analgesic. So clove bud oil, you would use this. You will use the oil if you need like a very strong painkiller that acts immediately. So what is this good for? Analgesic, that means like it's a painkiller, it's pain-killing. It's really good for toothache. The other day I actually had a toothache. I just put like one drop on an earbud, and I just literally swapped it over my tooth, and the toothache was almost gone. So it really works almost better than a painkiller. So it's an antiseptic. It's really good for colds and flus, for any kind of muscle aches and pains. But as I said, it can be a skin irritant. So if someone has broken skin, I would probably not use that oil. It blends very well with rose, but there's no harm if you're making any kind of pain-killing medicine. Then I just added with all other painkillers that I have already talked about. But as I said, this is not an oil that you won't be using every day, because it is like a skin irritant, and it can be bit too intensive, for everyday use. I would just say just use it in emergency. This oil can be in your first aid kit, but not in your everyday kit. What I use it for, as I said, I use it like to relieve toothache. As I said the other day, I just swiped it over my tooth, and all the toothache was almost gone. But his would be like a strong painkiller if to put as a compress on any kind of affected area. So we'll be using 5 drops of clove oil, red or white thyme, 5 drops, also 5 drops of cinnamon leaf, and you would just put it as a compress, hot compress on it, and that will relieve the pain immediately. So do you need this oil? You need it if you are making lots of pain-killing qualities. It's a good oil to have, but if you have already, let's say, red thyme or cinnamon leaf, then you probably don't need it. But just even for, to relieve the toothache quickly, you probably should have it in your kit. I have it and I actually love it. I love it as well to mix it with rose. It has like a really nice uplifting scent. It's nice as well for Christmas blends as well, obviously. But yeah, you probably should have this one in your kit. I definitely would advise. Cypress essential oils helps to stimulate circulation and can regulate blood flow and has a powerful toning action on varicose veins. Also very good for detoxifying body from excess water due to its diuretic properties. And so if you are suffering from water retention and cellulite, it's definitely one of the essential oils that you want to use in your blends to flush out the toxins out of your body. The cypress aroma can also help to ease stress and calm nerves. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? So let's have a look. So what is the chemical profile? 75% monoterpenes, 10% alcohols, and 5% esters. So what is this? What is the chemical profile telling us about the cypress oil? With 75% of monoterpenes, that just means they're like analgesic, strongly antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, stimulating and soothing, and also it's a good diuretic. With the alcohols, they're also regarded as stimulants. They're really good for skin. They have like a pleasant scent and they're generally good antibacterial oils. And esters are also regarded as calming, uplifting, and balancing. So it's a good everyday oil for prevention and good for skin and has a pleasant smell. So, and this is exactly what cypress essential oil really is. So what is this used for? It's a good blood cleanser. So it's really good for venous decongestion. So you have like lots of veins, varicose veins. It really actually helps tone them down, especially in combination with witch hazel. So it can really decongest veins, like a varicose veins. So it's a nervous tonic and menstrual regulator. It's good for acne and also helps with excessive sweating if it's used, like for example, in deodorants. It blends very well with all citrus oils, especially with cedarwood and clary sage, lavender and ginger, petitgrain, pine, and sandalwood. So let's have a look what I use it for. So it's really good oil to stop the bleeding. So if you apply, let's say 3 to 4 drops to a cold compress and gently press it to your nostrils together, it will stop the bleeding. And if you want, as I said, it's really good oil to massage varicose veins and cellulite and detoxification. So if you add together with cedarwood, juniper berry, and lemon, it really would get rid of excess water and any kind of it will get any kind of excess water. So definitely good oil for massage blends. So now the $1,000,000 questions: do you need cypress essential oils? I think if you're doing lots of massages and if you're dealing with clients who have like a varicose veins, you definitely, or excessive sweating, so you definitely need to have this in your kit. And it's also a very inexpensive oil to have. I would say you need this in your kit. Most of you will recognize eucalyptus as one of the main ingredients in VapoRub, and rightly so. Eucalyptus is a powerful antiseptic and has an amazing healing effect on the respiratory system. It's especially good for coughs and colds. This is also a great oil to relieve general aches and pains, and its sharp aroma also increases concentration and can lift feelings of depression. Eucalyptus is mostly famous for being Australian, and there are hundreds of species in Australia. Today we will be talking mostly about 3 of them, namely Eucalyptus globulus, Eucalyptus radiata, and Eucalyptus smithi. They all pretty much do the same job, but some are, and the major difference is actually is the chemical composition, and some basically just do the better job than the others. For example, Eucalyptus smithi is better for kids and elderly because it is not as strong as, for example, Eucalyptus globulus, as it won't open their lungs that much. So let's have a look what the eucalyptus essential oil has for properties and benefits and uses. So as I have mentioned already, there's 3 species that are used in aromatherapy. This is Eucalyptus globulus, Eucalyptus radiata, and Eucalyptus smithi. So what is the major difference between them is actually their chemical profile, which we are gonna look at first. So the first in line is Eucalyptus radiata, and this is probably the most common one to use in the aromatherapy. So when we're looking at the chemical profile, it has like 68% oxides and about 60% of monoterpenes. So oxides are generally regarded as stimulants. That just means it speeds up body function. So for example, they are usually mucolytic, so they expel the mucus from the body. Tolerant, so they just expels pretty much stuff from your body. You can say that decongestant just means it just frees up your lungs, and so and you know, it's decongestant means like, yeah, it just does what it says. It just decongests like your lungs and so forth. And then it's also diuretic, and it's just, you can say it just expels stuff from your body that's not supposed to be there. You can say that. So as you can see already at the properties, it's a really powerful antibacterial, antifungal oil, and it's really good for any kind of infection, so especially for colds and flus. So I can say, like, it's a decongesting oil, as I said already, helps to clear like any kind of cold and flu symptoms, as you can see. So yeah, and also it's an effective insect repellent. So if you have that on your holiday, so that would be a good one. So it blends very well with lavender. So I like to blend it as well with lavandine for the extra kind of ketones and so forth. Like, you know, especially if I'm making like a cold and flu blend, or for pain, or like a mild pain reliever actually. So. But it's also very nice with lemon and peppermint. It's really decongesting, or like it is also nice with sandalwood and Ylang, so it's not as sharp. It kind of brings down the sharp aroma. So next in line is the Eucalyptus globulus. Also pretty much kind of similar in action as the Eucalyptus radiata. Has slightly more oxides, so that, and 10% monoterpenes and 6% alcohol. That means it's like a milder oil, as you can see. It's kind of pretty much a kind of similar. So you don't, in your kit, you don't need both of them. So it actually pretty much does the same as the radiata, Eucalyptus radiata does. So it's also a decongestant, expectorant, febrifuge, means just reduces fibers, and antiseptic and antiviral. So good for any kind of viral infections. And it also kind of blends with the same oils as well. And Eucalyptus smithi, this is one, like, it's really good for elderly people and for children as well, because it doesn't open the lungs too much. So that's good milder. It's a milder oil to use. So, but also it does pretty much the same as the Eucalyptus radiata or the Eucalyptus globulus. It's decongesting oil, good for colds and flus and fluid retention and mental exhaustion and congestion. So it pretty much, like most of the oxides, it actually expels the body fluids. If you are looking for one oil that's good for colds and flus, then I definitely recommend you should add the eucalyptus to your kit. I'm sure that you already know that fennel tea can relieve indigestion and upset stomach. So basically, the fennel essential oil does exactly the same. It's really good for relieving bloating, flatulence, or any kind of digestive cramps or constipation. And fennel is pretty much good to get rid of anything that you should have not either eaten or drank. So it will come up this way or up down this way. So I have included also a recipe how to do that later. Fennel has excellent expectorant properties, so it's really good for getting rid of excess mucus or phlegm from your body. And it's really good actually as well to get rid of any kind of unpleasant odors. So it's a really good room deodorizer oil. So what are the properties, benefits, and uses? So 62% phenols in chemical profile. What is this again telling us? Not to be used on a regular basis. It's a stimulant and very strong one. What is a stimulant? Stimulant just means it speeds up like a body functions. Has also 24% monoterpenes, and they're also slightly analgesic, very antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, and stimulating and soothing as well. And also it's a diuretic, like generally fennel would be a good diuretic. So what does it do? As I said already, like, just by looking at, and also as like a ketone, so definitely not at all that you want to use every day, and also not to be used. This is one of the oils that should not be used in pregnancy. So skip this from your pregnancy list. If you're pregnant, don't use this oil. So as I already mentioned, from the chemical profile, you can see the properties. It's antiseptic, antispasmodic, carminative, that means like expels the gases from your intestines, emmenagogue, and expectorant. So expectorant means it just expels something from your body. So be it the mucus or whatever, it just wants it out of your body. It has like a very pungent odor or scent, so I would not be generally using it anyways as my everyday blend, but if I would have to mix it with something, it probably would be with ginger or like lavender or nutmeg. So not really like an oil that you would be using for blending and creating kind of fancy scents. It's actually very good to get rid of any kind of odors. So if you have like fish odor or something like that needs to be get rid of, so you should definitely use fennel oil in your diffuser. So what is this actually good for? So as an expectorant remedy, so let's say like if you have eaten something bad, you add 1 drop. I generally don't advise drinking essential oils, but this will be like one time but you could do that, and it's just to add 1 drop of fennel essential oils into 100 milliliter cold water, and you just drink it. And so basically that whatever you have eaten will come either in front through your mouth or through the backside. Sorry for my language, but like, yeah, it is an expectorant, as I have already said. It's good for like, to relieve flatulence or indigestion, the stomach cramps. So when you drink a fennel tea, it's kind of the fennel essential oil has the same effect. So you just add like a couple of drops into sweet almond oil, and in a circular motion you would just apply it over your tummy. And as I said, it's really good to get rid of unwanted odors. So if you add a couple of drops to a diffuser, that will actually get rid of the bad smell. So the million question is, do you need this essential oil in your kit? I would say it's a good first aid oil, especially if you have eaten something bad or if you have upset tummy. It's a good oil to have, and it's an inexpensive oil, so you should definitely have it, but definitely not oil to be used on a daily basis. You probably will recognize frankincense as an incense as one of the ingredients that's burned during Catholic Mass in the church. And frankincense is highly valued for its effect on the mind, especially when it's used as an aid in meditation. It has also excellent wound healing properties, especially when combined with myrrh and lavender. It's really, really good for mature and dry skin. So you can really get rid of wrinkles using just a combination of lavender, myrrh, and frankincense. It also soothes aches and pains, and it's especially beneficial for arthritis and rheumatic pain. What is the frankincense good for? What are the properties and benefits? So let's have a look. So What is the chemical profile? Well, it is not as exciting as you would have thought. It's mostly monoterpenes. And what are the monoterpenes? They are antioxidants, somewhat analgesic, but not all of them. They are antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, stimulating and soothing, and slightly diuretic. So, but what is it good for? It's good for wound healing, or good for agitation, for depression, sun-damaged skin, mature skin. It's good for infections. It's good for respiratory system. And it's also currently researched for to fight cancers naturally. So this is still in research. So I don't have like any more data on that. So what can you use the frankincense? What I use it for? So it's really good for meditation. Like, you know, as I said, it's used in church together with myrrh as an incense, so that has like a good reason for it. It's a kind of soul cleansing oil if you want it, but it's really calming. I really love it in oil burner together with myrrh, of course. And it's also good scar remedy for like wrinkled skin or mature skin or dry skin, especially like together with myrrh and lavender. And in rosehip oil, if you massage this daily, it would definitely get rid of any kind of scars or stretch marks, or as I said, or yeah, it's a good oil for that. Now, do you need frankincense in your kit? Yes, it's a good oil to have, especially like, you know, to calm people down, and it's also good as well for like scars and stuff. So it's a good oil together with myrrh to have. And it's not a particularly expensive as well, so I would definitely include it in your kit. Geranium is a balancing essential oil. It can be relaxing or stimulating depending on your body needs. As the oil is both calming and uplifting, it can balance emotions and reduce anxiety and depression. Geranium is also great for all skin type. Its anti-inflammatory effect it can control acne, and its rejuvenating effect can help minimize lines and wrinkles. Geranium is also a great hormonal balancer, so it can help with PMS and relieve menstrual problems. It's also a diuretic, so if you're suffering from water retention, puffiness, this is definitely oil that you need to include in your massage blends. One of the most impressive property of geranium is actually that it can stop bleeding. Essential oils. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? Let's have a look. So, what is the chemical profile telling us? It's 63% alcohols, 15% ester, 7% ketones, and 5% aliphatic aldehydes, and 4% sesquiterpenes. So, just by looking at it, I would say it's a good oil. Being with 63% alcohol, so it means, like I said, it's a stimulating oil, so it's good for skin. It has definitely a nice, pleasant scent, and it's a good antibacterial oil. Esters in aromatherapy are gregarious, is calming, uplifting, and balancing. Also, not a good everyday oil for prevention, and it's good for skin, and also, you know, they generally smell nicely. Now, it has 7% ketones. Ketones are the workhorses in aromatherapy. They're regarded as cooling, so particularly not to be used every day, but, you know, it's a small amount of 7%, so we can let go this one through. Like, ketones are generally antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. They're like sedative, wound healing, carminative, and mucolytic, and lipolytic. So they're quite good essential oils if you need them to expel things from your body. What are the aldehydes? Aldehydes are generally regarded also as calming, also like stimulating and warming. And the sesquiterpenes, they are also regarded as balancing and calming. So at one glance, I can say this is a balancing and calming oil. And have a look at it, and the properties is a hormonal balancing oil. It's a good for your diabetes, diarrhea, PMS, hemorrhoids, skin problems of any kind, and most importantly, it stops bleeding. I kid you not. The other day I actually made an experiment. I put a one drop on the wound where it was bleeding from a paper cut. You can't believe how much a paper cut can bleed, and it actually stopped the bleeding. You should actually just take that kind of little experiment. It blends very well with lots of essential oils, especially like bergamot and lavender and lemon and neroli, orange, palmarosa, petitgrain, rose, sandalwood, ylang. So you can see it has like a nice, pleasant floral kind of scent, almost like a rose. But the funny thing is, like, the scent is coming not from the flowers, but actually from the leaves, and there are like lots of different geranium kind of species. But the Pelargonium graveolens is the one that's actually distilled from the leaves. So what I like to use it for, so it's a really good, like a female hormone balancer, especially when mixed with rose and or sage, or like clary sage as well. So it's also good, just even if you have like PMS or problems with periods. So it's a really good female hormone balancer. And as I said already, like, it stops the bleeding. It just needs like one drop to apply directly to the wound, and it really actually stops the bleeding. So it's also good oil to relieve cystitis, like especially if you put it into a bath, and also good oil to ease like anxiety and depression. So the million question is, do you need a geranium essential oil in your kit? And I would say it's definitely a yes for me, because it's a really good all-rounding oil with a large chemical profile, and even just for the fact that it stops bleeding, like, it's just absolutely amazing, and you need it actually even in your first aid kit. What is the conclusion? You need this oil. You probably know ginger as in ginger beer, or have been drinking ginger with lemon to fight cold and flu. It's one of the best oils to soothe sore throat. Ginger is also one of the best oils for an upset stomach and to relieve constipation. It's also excellent oil to help with motion sickness and morning sickness. Ginger is warming and reviving oil for both body and the mind, and can lift feelings of fatigue, and is helpful for anxiety and nervous tension. Due to its warming properties, it's really good oil to be used for rheumatic pain. Due to its good analgesic properties, it can relieve headaches and general aches and pains, especially muscle pain. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? Let's have a look. So what is the chemical profile? So it's 55% sesquiterpenes and 20% monoterpenes. So it's a terpene rich oil. So what is this meaning? It means it's a stimulant, a really good general tonic. It's a good air antiseptic, and it's a decongestant. So now it has also alcohols, they're also stimulants. So it's a really stimulating oil. That means speeds up any kind of body process. So let's have a look at the properties. So it's a warming and moving oil. So it's really good for rheuma and neuralgia. Very good oil for nausea. So if you're, let's say, for example, traveling, you're suffering from traveling nausea, so you need ginger actually in your life. It really actually stopped this feeling of motion sickness. So it's very good oil for constipation and any kind of indigestion. So it's kind of similar as you would use the ginger in your food. It's the essential oils basically kind of does the same. So what I like to use it for, as I said, it's a really nice, just to get rid of a nausea or like motion sickness. So you can use it on your handkerchief, or you could just use like a inhaler. So if you just let's say put 6 to 7 drops in inhaler, and you inhale it during a motion sickness, maybe if you mix it a bit with peppermint, it will actually stop the motion sickness. So it's very good to soothe the upset stomach when you just when you massage it in a circular motion, in a clockwise. and also good aromatic blend. So it's really nice if you with the arnica oil. So and add if you add a bit of a basil, black pepper, and rosemary. So it's a really nice and a nice herbal and soothing and warming blend. So do you need ginger in your kit? I would say yes. It's probably it mixes well with citrus oils and coriander, but I love it especially with grapefruit. It's actually really nice, and yes, it's a nice oil to have. Can be the aroma can be a little bit pungent, but as I said, it's not especially expensive, so it's good, really good for any kind of indigestion and motion sickness or any kind of nausea. You should actually have this in your kit, so I would say go for it. Grapefruit has an energizing and uplifting effect on the mind, combats tiredness and mental exhaustion, and is very helpful for treating anxiety and depression. It also boosts circulation, it can reduce water retention, and can help with detox. So it's a really good blend. It's also really good oil to add to your massage blend. It's also good oil to use in the diffuser if you're suffering from a hangover. It will definitely lift the mental fog. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? So the grapefruit oil, when we look at the chemical profile, it has like about 96% monoterpenes. And what are the monoterpenes? They're good antioxidants, somewhat analgesic, but not all of them. They're strongly antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, stimulating and soothing, and they're good diuretics. And when we have a look at the properties, this is exactly what it is. It's antiseptic, it's an antidepressant and diuretic and disinfectant. So good to use in your natural cleaning blends, or if you're using for blends to get rid of excess water. So it's really good for that. So it blends very well with all other essential oil, citrus essential oils. It's also nice with basil, coriander, rosemary, ginger, geranium, lavender, neroli. So let's have a look what I like to use it for. It's actually like one of the oils that actually can give you a hangover. So if you are dying next day from your night out, so I would add just a couple of drops into a diffuser, and that will definitely pick you up from the dead. I swear. Maybe you can mix a bit of a lavender and peppermint to it, and definitely that will lift you up again. And for a nice detoxing or water to help like with the water retention, I just like to mix it with juniper and cedarwood. So this will definitely get rid of any excess water if you massage it daily. So do you need a grapefruit essential oil in your kit? I would say definitely yes. It's a very inexpensive oil, and it's very uplifting, really nice, refreshing aroma. So very versatile in a way. So I would say you need this in your kit. Hyssop is prized for its purifying scent that is a cross between flowery and bitter aroma. While the plant technically belongs to the mint family, the flowers look similar to lavender. It's a staple in the folk medicine, especially Middle East. Basically, it has been used for centuries to alleviate symptoms of cold and flu. It's also really good to reduce sore throat. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? So hyssop is probably not as popular, not easily available in pharmacies or in shops. So you probably would need to get a specialized aromatherapy supplier to get hyssop. It's from a plant family Lamiaceae, so it's kind of similar to lavender in a way. And in the scent is almost like similar, has like this kind of camphoric scent. And the reason why it's probably not as available, if you look at the chemical profile, it has 36% ketones, also phenols. So this is like a really strong oil. Like ketones are generally workhorses in aromatherapy. So they are regarded as cooling, but also they're really analgesic and antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, choleric, carminative, mucolytic, lipolytic, sedative, wound healing. Hyssop is a good oil if you have any kind of problems with your lungs. So it really kind of helps create kind of space in your lungs and in your body. So what is this used for? It's antispasmodic, sedative, stimulates sweating, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, expectorant, diuretic, and emagogue. So it's a good oil to include if you have any kind of coughs and colds. And I would just really use this sparingly because of the rich ketone. So like really, if you're looking something like for a strong expectorant or something like that, it's also nice kind of uplifting kind of smell. So if you are suffering from a nervous breakdown, that is it's a good calming oil as well. It's very nerving, sedative as it says here. But as I said, not an everyday oil. So no, use with caution, like with pregnancy, or not to be used on any babies or children at all elderly people. So it is a very strong oil and it should be used when really, really necessary. So use lavender instead if you can. But it's a nice oil, it's very uplifting. I quite like it, but as I said, I use it very sparingly. So, do you need this essential oil in your kit? I would say probably not. So, as I said, lavender probably would do kind of the same. So, but if you can find it, it has like a really nice herbal aroma, almost more herbal. It's almost like a mix between, I would say, Clary sage and lavender. It's a nice smell. I like it. As I said, it really kind of, I feel like kind of peaceful when I'm burning it in an incense. I don't apply it to my body because of the high ketone content, and ketones can be a bit neurotoxic with prolonged use. So you should definitely not use this oil on a regular basis. So now and then is good oil to have. Do you have to have it? Probably not. It's a not must have. Helichrysum is also known as the immortelle. It's often used in expensive cosmetics for mature skin for its regenerative properties. The reason why it's called everlasting is because it retains its vibrant color even when dried. This is an expensive oil and it's really labor intensive to harvest. Helichrysum is a good pain reliever. It's really good for any kind of joint pains. It's also good for any kind of aches and pains, just generally any kind of pain really that you will have. Also promotes scar healing, the really great scar remedy, and it's useful as well for treating like skin problems such as acne, dermatitis, psoriasis, eczema, etc. Also, Helichrysum can stimulate circulation and can really provide relief from varicose veins. Due to its fast healing properties, it's a really good oil as well to be used in emergency for small burns and cuts due to its fast healing properties. What is it good for? What are the benefits and what are the uses? Let's have a look. What does the oil do? So it's detoxifying. It purifies the blood. It drains the lymph glands. So it's really good detox oil. It stimulates the liver and it's anti-inflammatory. It blends very well with all citrus oils. Especially with bergamot, and it's also nice with clary sage. It gives like a nice, and chamomile gives like a nice herbal kind of scent. Do you have to have this oil in your kit? It's very expensive, so I would say absolutely not. You can easily use like a chamomile. You could also use like a lavender or geranium, but it is not a must-have. Jasmine is one of the popular ingredients in perfumery and it's renowned as an aphrodisiac for men and women. Jasmine is very expensive because it takes tons of flowers just to produce 1 liter of oil, and also flowers can be only harvested during the night as the scent is then most intense. So as you can see, it's very, very labor intensive. Jasmine is deeply relaxing and uplifting, and This oil is really good antidepressant, especially for women. Jasmine can also improve skin elasticity and can help with scars and improve stretch marks. Jasmine is a great female hormone balancer and can really help with menstrual pain and PMS. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? So jasmine essential oils. I love jasmine essential oils. I would just keep this for the scent alone. Almost all my perfumes contain jasmine. I love it so much. Like even jasmine alone on its own is a perfume alone actually. So what is the chemical profile? So it's 54% esters, 24% alcohol. So esters, what are they? They are regarded as calming, uplifting, and balancing. They're really good everyday oils for prevention. They're good for skin. That they really have amazing scent, like our jasmine. So what is it used for? So it's jasmine, because it's so expensive, it's really not often used in aromatherapy. It mixes very well with rose, sandalwood, and ylang. So very good essential oils to combat depression. So it's a natural aphrodisiac for men and women, and it's a natural sedative. So if you're dealing with lots of patients, especially women who are battling depression, so you definitely should include this in your kit. And the $1,000,000 question is, do you need it? Probably not, but if you like the scent and definitely, and then you can afford a price tag, then definitely go for it. It's actually nice as a perfume on its own, as I already have said. Juniper is one of the ancient essential oils that has been used in the mummification process in the ancient Egypt. And twigs of juniper are still burned today in Tibetan temples for purification purposes. Juniper berry oil, which is distilled from berries, is regarded to be more superior oil than the oil which is distilled from twigs and the fruit. As a diuretic, it can also it helps expel toxins from the body, and it makes it really useful also for gout and arthritis and rheumatism. It can also treat urinary infections such as cystis and ease generally aches and pains. Juniper has also astringent properties. It can also treat dandruff used in a shampoo or in a hair rinse. Because of its astringent properties, it can also shrink varicose veins and help with hemorrhoids. What is the juniper essential oil good for? So the chemical profile says it's 80% monoterpenes and 6% sesquiterpenes and 5% alcohols. So it's a terpene-rich oil. Terpenes and monoterpenes are generally regarded as stimulants. That means it speeds up bodily functions. So they're good general tonic, good air antiseptic, and a good decongestant. Sesquiterpenes are regarded as balancing and calming. So they're good anti-inflammatory agents and astringent agents. It means they shrink tissues. And alcohols are regarded as a stimulant. So what is it good for? It's good for urinary infections, expels uric acid from the system, and is a powerful detoxifying agent. It's antiseptic, analgesic, aphrodisiac, causes sweating, and controls sebum production. So it blends very well with all citrus oils. It's also nice with geranium, lavender, myrrh, rosemary, and sandalwood. My favorite blend is probably Juniper with cedarwood and Vetiver and lemon. What I like to use it for, it's really nice actually, to purify the air, like a stale air in rooms. So if you put like a couple of drops in your diffuser and diffuse it for for 1 hour or so, the stale air almost disappears. Nice blend for detox and water retention relief. So together with lemon and cedarwood, as I have already said, it really gets rid of any kind of excess water and any lumps and bumps. So do you need that juniper essential oil? I would say yes. It's a good oil to have, especially if you're massaging your clients. It's very inexpensive oil as well. It's a good meditative oil as well. It's really kind of uplifting at the same time. I would say you need this in your kit. Lavender is one of the must-haves in every aromatherapist kit. It's almost good for everything. So if I had to pick one essential oil to take to desert island with me, then it would be definitely lavender. Lavender was extensively used by Romans in their baths, and the word lavender comes from the Roman word lavere, which means to wash. Lavender blends very well with all essential oils, and for example, when I'm making a blend and I feel the blend is a little bit off, then I usually would add 1 drop of lavender oil, mainly Lavandula angustifolia, and that usually fixes the problem and kind of adds a bit of a thing to the blend. Lavender is also one of the adaptogenic essential oils, meaning if you, for example, have a high blood pressure, it will lower it, and other way around. Let's have a look what is lavender good for. But I have to tell you what you might know as lavender. There are actually 3 species used in aromatherapy, namely Lavandula angustifolia, also called true lavender, Lavandula latifolia, also called spike lavender, and the last but not the least, Lavandula ex intermediata. This is basically a cross between Lavandula angustifolia and Lavandula latifolia. Basically, you get the best of the 2 plants in one. Okay, so let's have a look and see what exactly what are the properties of lavender essential oils, and how it blends with the other oils, and also we will shortly have a look at the chemical profile. So basically, we're starting with the true lavender essential oils. As you can see, it's just always look at the profile of the essential oils. So basically, the chemical profile says it's about 45 esters and 36 alcohols, and that immediately tells me that this is like calming, uplifting, and balancing oil. So it's really good for the skin, and has a generally pleasant smell, and it's a really good oil for everyday prevention. Oils that contain lots of esters and alcohols are generally antifungal and anti-inflammatory, antispasmodic, cell-generating, nervine, and sedative. So they're really good for skin and also for wound healing. As you can see, the oil is cell regenerating and good for all skin complaints such as acne, eczema, sunburn, hair loss, scars, stretch marks, insect bites, and so on and so on. So, but it's also a sedative and decongestant, and so it's good for general aches and pains, cold and flu, rheumatism, anxiety, and insomnia. So it blends very well with all other oils. As already mentioned, if my blend is off, I would just usually add 1 drop of lavender essential oil, and then this usually kind of balances out the blend. So a really good oil just to add to any kind of blend. But as I said, it blends really well with bergamot and chamomile and clary sage. I like it really with clary sage. It gives like a really nice herbal aroma. And yeah, so you can experiment. So true lavender is probably one of the oils that you definitely want to have in your kit. So we're moving on to the spike lavender. And spike lavender is generally more camphoric, so it has, when you're looking at the profile, you will see there's like a 32% alcohols and 50% ketones, and ketones are generally the workhorses of the aromatherapy, so they're definitely not ones to be used on every day. So they're not to be used on a prolonged use anyway, so like they can be neurotoxic, and definitely should be used with caution, especially in pregnancy. But they're really good oils for they have an analgesic property. So like if you need like a painkiller, like a mild painkiller, it's really good. So lavender spike, because it has contains a camphor, as you can see here, some of the constituents. It's really good to add to any kind of cold and flu blends. So if you see here, it's a good for pain and colds and muscle pain, inflammation. So any kind of wherever you need like a painkiller, or especially mild painkiller, you should definitely include spike lavender. For this, it kind of blends very well with bergamot, with chamomile, Clary, sage again, pretty much kind of similar as the lavandula angustifolia. So good oil for any kind of aches and pains or any kind of mild pain. It's a good mild painkiller. It has definitely more camphoric scent, whereas lavandula, true lavender, or lavandula angustifolia is more like a flowery scent. And then let's have a look at the lavandine, or the lavandula ex intermediata. So another one, like this is just basically the cross between the lavandula, the true lavender, and the spike lavender, and so you basically get the best of the two worlds. And when we're looking at the chemical profile, it has a 30% esters, 45 alcohols, 10% ketones, and approximately 6% monoterpenes. So you can see this is like a really good blend of the two, with the esters and alcohols, which are good for good antibacterial oils and good skin oils for wound healing. And you also have 10% of ketones, which are actually the workhorses of the aromatherapy, so they're good for aches and pain. So like if you cannot decide if you should get the true lavender or the spike lavender, then I would say get the lavandine. It has also smell like a slightly camphoric smell, so it's not as pleasant as lavender angustifolia. But it's also good oil to use on kids, on elderly people, because especially if it's for respiratory infections, or just generally, I just like to create like a blend that's a general tonic. And I like to use it as well for colds and flus, because it also kind of helps you to sleep, but it still has enough ketones to be like a mild painkiller. So this is what it has to be, what I can tell you about lavender essential oil. So like lavender essential oil, so any of these three would actually be great to have in your aroma kit. So you're not an aromatherapist if you have not at least two of the lavender, if you don't even have like any of those in your aroma kit. So if you would have to get one oil, then it would be definitely a lavender oil. You will probably recognize the lemon scent from the musk air fresheners and cleaning material due to its antibacterial and antiseptic and deodorizing properties. The scent is very uplifting, it can really increase your focus and clear your mind, especially if you're having a very busy day in the office. Lemon essential oil is detoxifying, can really help with cellulite, water retention, varicose veins. It can also stimulate the digestive system and help combat obesity and lack of appetite. Properties, benefits, and uses. Let's have a look what the lemon oil can do for you. So, at the first glance, it's 87% monoterpenes. So what do the monoterpenes do? So they're like high in antioxidants, they're strongly antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, stimulant, they're soothing, and also they're diuretics. So what does the lemon oil do? It's, as I already have said, it's antiseptic, diuretic, febrifuge, it's a strong tonic. It blends well with musty oils, especially with citrus oils. I also like to use it with juniper, lavender. It's very nice, and also it's very nice ylang. It kind of takes off the headiness of ylang. As I said, it's really nice as a room refresher. You can put it in a diffuser, you can also make like a room spray, and also it's a really nice detoxifying oil together with grapefruit and juniper berry. It really gets rid of excess water and any lumps and bumps. So now, do you need the essential oil? Yes, you need it. Only caution is like, it can be like a photosensitizing. Don't go directly into the sun. It's a nice oil to have, very inexpensive. They usually, as all citrus oils, they usually last up to 6 months. So you just make sure they're not oxidized, because they can actually irritate the skin. So this is definitely a yes for me. You need this one in your kit. Lemongrass is probably mostly known as insect repellent, rightly so, as it's the best oil for the job. And lemongrass is also natural appetite stimulant and is often used in Thai cuisine. It can help tone slack muscle tissue when used in a massage blend. There's also strong antiseptic properties, which can control sweating and kill bacteria that cause bad odors. It's a good oil to use if you're suffering from athlete's foot or any kind of foot infection. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? Let's give us a look. It's 80% aliphatic aldehydes, 40% monoterpenes. So what do the aldehydes do? Aldehydes are regarded as calming, stimulating, and warming, but they can actually oxidize quickly, and they can also irritate it. When oxidized, they can irritate the skin. So be cautious kind of there. And monoterpenes, they are like also antioxidants, antibacterial, antifungal, stimulating and soothing. So what does the lemongrass do? It's a good antidepressant, it's an insect repellent, antiseptic, antibacterial agent, it's antibacterial oil, it's a deodorant, it's nervine, it's good for cellulites, and it's used traditionally for fevers and infections. And also, it's a good antifungal oil. So if you have kind of any kind of like a fungus on foot or hands, like warts or anything, that will definitely get rid of the warts or any kind of fungus. This is like not an oil that I like to blend with other oils, but it would be good maybe with citrus kind of fruits. Also like it with cedarwood, like a good insect repellent. So if I'm traveling, yeah, you need this as a, you can just put it in instantly body lotion with 10 drops of lemongrass essential oils, and I can guarantee you that all the bugs are gonna stay away from you. It's as I said, it's a nice massage blend. So especially like with lemongrass, like melissa and a peppermint, it's really uplifting, and it really helps like with water retention as well. So now the $1 million question is, do you need the lemongrass in your kit? It's a good oil, but not a must-have. I generally am not kind of keen on aldehydes anyways. They kind of almost make me sick in my stomach. So I would probably not. I don't even have lemongrass, to be honest with you. I use citronella. It's that was an insect repellent, or even lavender. It's good enough for me as well. So lemongrass, it's not probably oil that you must have. As most citrus oils, lime is mostly used for its uplifting and detoxifying properties. This is another great stress reliever and great oil to increase mental focus and ease anxiety and depression. Lime oil has also great balancing properties. It's very good oil as well to use for oily hair and skin. Also helps with digestion and has strong detoxifying properties, which can help relieve water retention and reduce cellulite. Like all citrus fruits, it's a good metabolism booster, and when inhaled, it can help suppress appetite. Lime essentially good for what are the benefits and what are the uses? Give us a look. So it's a monoterpene rich oil, which just immediately says to me it's a handful of antioxidants and slightly analgesic, and it's very good antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial oil, and it's also stimulating and soothing, and also a diuretic. Properties, it's, as I said, antimicrobial, digestive tonic, lymphatic stimulant, uplifting. So, but this is also another oil that's phototoxic, so if you are using it in your blend, so make sure you get the distilled oil, which is not phototoxic. And it blends well with all citrus oil, cedarwood, and lavender. What are the uses? So it's really nice actually to lift the spirit and increase the focus when you use your diffuser. It's also nice to balance greasy hair when you add it to your shampoo, and it's also invigorating body lotion oil. So just add a couple of drops. Now the $1 million question is, do you need a lime essential oil in your aromatherapy kit? I would say if you have any other citrus oils, then probably not. I hardly ever use this oil. I use it in one of my deodorants, but it's really not a must-have. As I said, if you have lemon oil or bergamot, that will actually just do fine. Mandarin is known to be one of the safest oils to be used in pregnancy. It also has a reputation for calming restless children, and I'm guessing because it's of its sweet and cheerful aroma. Mandarin is also good for skin, and it can get rid of stretch marks and flabby skin. Mandarin also adds digestion, and it can help move food along, and it's also a great oil for constipation. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? So, what is the chemical profile? First thing first, 90% monoterpenes and 5% alcohol. So, monoterpenes rich in antioxidants, slightly analgesic, not all of them though. They're strongly antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. They're stimulating and soothing and somewhat diuretic. So, what is the mandarin for? Usually, it's actually reputed to be really good for children for some reason, because I don't even know why. It's one of those oils that actually is supposed to be safe in pregnancy. Most of the books advise this oil in pregnancy, maybe because it's good for children. So they just thought, well, it's probably good to use in the pregnancy as well. So it's a good tone. It's very good for constipation, like nausea, like insomnia and fluid retention. And also it's not photosensitive oil as well, so you can go into the sun. It blends well with bergamot, with cinnamon leaf, with clove, lavender, neroli, and sandalwood. So what I'm using this for, so I like to use it as well in a diffuser just to calm the nerves, or like even better to use it in an oil burner, so it's more meditative than in a diffuser. And it's also nice if you have like an indigestion or constipations, just to add 5 drops of Mandarin essential oil to sweet almond oil and just massage it in a clockwise motion over your tummy. And if you want to relieve morning sickness, just put 10 drops in your stick inhaler or on a handkerchief. You can also add like a bit of ginger and peppermint oil just to relieve the morning sickness or even motion sickness. Now, the $1 million question is, do you need a Mandarin essential oil in your kit? Not particularly. It's not a must-have, but it's a good oil to have. So, and it's slightly expensive than other citrus oil. Now, if you have lots of other citrus oils like a bergamot and like lemon or orange, you probably don't need this in your kit. But as I said, if you're working with lots of children and with pregnant women, then you probably should include this in your kit. Melissa is also known as lemon balm, and in aromatherapy, it's known for its feel-good aroma. It has a sedating action on the nervous system. It's a great oil for panic attacks and for insomnia. This is a good oil to be used on someone who's suffering from anxiety-induced respiratory problems. Although pricey, it is actually quite popular in massage blends. Melissa has a soothing effect on the skin. It can help reduce redness and swelling after insect bite and or bee or wasp bite. It's also really helpful to calm down a sunburn. It also has an anti-aging effect. It can really brighten dull and tired complexion. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? Now, Melissa essential oil is not probably my favorite. Sorry. If you have a look at the profile, there's like alcohol, sesquiterpenes, and ketones, and monoterpenes, and oxides. So that just means it's a good all-around oil. Although it is very expensive because it's quite labor intensive and there's not much Melissa around as well. So it's an expensive oil. And what is it good for? So it's antiviral, it's a good immune system booster, so it lowers blood pressure, so it's a good stress relief. Because it's very sedating on the nervous system. And it is basically famous for its calming effect and the rejuvenating effect. It's supposed to be like a relaxant, so it's a good oil to use in massage blends, and very often that's what it's used for. It mixes well with all citrus oils, and it's also nice for geranium and lavender. So what I have used it for, so it's kind of nice for if you're suffering from insomnia. So You can prepare inhaler with lavender and basil, so that actually really helps. If you don't know how to make the inhaler, I have also a video how to do that. And that also says, as I say, it's a nice relaxing muscle blend. So if you add a bit of arnica infused oil and melissa oil, it's really nice and relaxing and uplifting scent. So it's especially good for people who cannot sleep or relax. So now, do you need the melissa in your kit? I hardly ever use it because I just don't really like the scent either of it. It's kind of almost like a lemongrass and lemon kind of mix. It's a calming oil, yes, but do you really need it? I would say probably not, unless you're massaging lots of stressed out people who cannot sleep, then probably yes. Other than that, you can easily replace it with any other essential oil. So it's a no from me. I'm sorry. Neroli tree produces 3 oils, namely neroli essence from the flowers, sweet orange oil from the fruit, and the petitgrain from the leaves. Like rose and jasmine, neroli is very popular in perfumery, and it's very expensive and labor-intensive to produce. Neroli is calming and uplifting, and it's primarily used as an antidepressant with slightly hypnotic effect. Neroli is often used in skincare for mature and dry skin. It can be really deeply hydrating, and it really helps minimize lines and wrinkles. What is neroli good for? What are the benefits and properties, and what are the uses? Now, neroli essential oil, it's good for nervous system, so it really is good like for any issues with the heart. It's good for if you're heartbroken. It's good for anxiety, and because it's a sedative and an antidepressant, and it's also good for any kind of skin types. Downfall is it's very expensive oil. It's oil also that's used often in the perfume industry, and it mixes well with all essential oils and with all citrus oils, and it's good with chamomile, with clary sage, coriander, geranium, lavender. What can you use it for? So it's nice as a perfume. You mix it with neroli, with jasmine and benzoin and ylang, so it gives like a nice natural perfume. And also if you're suffering for mature and wrinkled skin, so go ahead and add a couple of drops of neroli and frankincense, mix it with jojoba oil. Yeah, like now, do you need a neroli oil? Possibly it's not essential to have it in your kit, but if you feel spendy and you have, if you're treating lots of clients that are suffering from anxiety or any kind of heart kind of related emotional kind of issues, then you probably should add it to your kit, but it's not a must-have. Palmarosa has a green scent and is slightly reminiscent of rose, and is often used in skincare for its hydrating purposes. It really helps stimulate cell generation, it keeps skin supple and elastic, and can brighten the complexion and minimize the appearance of wrinkles and lines. It's also good for acne and dermatitis due to its antiseptic properties. Palmarosa is also good in relieving stress and anxiety, and is also considered an aphrodisiac. Palmarosa can aid digestion and improve poor appetite. It can also relieve symptoms of diarrhea when massaged over abdomen. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? So Palmarosa, it's one of those oils that you probably love and hate. To me, it has like a really kind of herbal scent, not very rosy. Don't really particularly like the scent. But what is it good for? It's like a nice hydrating and hydrating oil, especially good for skin. It's a good tonic. It's good for digestive issues. It mixes well with geranium and rose. What can you use it for? So it's actually, as I said, it mixes well with geranium and rose. So if you want to make like a hydrating face cream, then I would say 5 drops of Palmarosa, 5 drops of geranium, and 1 drop of rose otto. Now, do you need a Palmarosa in your kit, I would say absolutely not. I hardly ever use my Palmarosa. Only time I would ever use it if I want to make an insect repellent, or if I use to extra hydration to dehydrated skin after sun remedies and stuff like that. But definitely not one of my favorites, and definitely not a must-have. Peppermint is a popular oil that's used in chewing gums and mint products, also dental products, due to its refreshing and antiseptic aroma. Aromatherapy is usually used in really small quantities, as it really can overpower other essential oils very quickly. Peppermint is also an excellent insect repellent and can be used to soothe mosquito bites or any kind of insect bites. Peppermint is also good painkiller and can be applied anywhere where there is a strong painkilling and strong cooling sensation required. It's also great oil to relieve tension headaches, for example. You can also use peppermint oil to relieve upset stomach or flatulence. It's good for travel and motion sickness, but for this I actually prefer spearmint, a bit milder, and it doesn't cause you to tear really. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? Now, peppermint oil is mostly good actually for nausea and vomiting. It's also good for headaches and migraines, and it's a good oil to add to your for colds and flus and sinuses blends. It can also relieve irritations and itching, and if you apply it to your temples and forehead, it can relieve migraines and headaches. But if you're suffering from nausea, spearmint is probably better, and it's also a softer oil. It blends well with Clary, sage, eucalyptus, lavender, lemon, marjoram, and rosemary. So what is it good for? So as I have said already, if you apply 1 drop to the temples and forehead to relieve the headaches and migraines. And it's also a good essential oil to use like in any strong pain, but you need like a strong pain-killing action. It can also relieve like motion sickness if you just add 1 drop to your handkerchief, or you could just make like a full inhaler. So if you add, let's say, 13 drops to your inhaler, I also have a YouTube video how to make an inhaler. And if you're suffering from indigestion and flatulence, so you can add like 10 ml to sweet almond oil and then massage it clockwise over your tummy. That will expel any kind of excess air in your intestines. Now, the $1 million question is, do you need this oil in your aromatherapy kit? I would say it's alright. You know, it's good for the flatulence. It's a good reliever for headaches and migraines, but it is not a must-have, but a good oil to have. So if you have room in your kit, then definitely add the peppermint oil. But as I said, it has like a nice cooling action as well. So, you know, if you're in a hot climate and suffering from heat rushes or stuff like that, then you probably want the cooling action. So you would add a couple of drops of peppermint oil. And also, if you combine it with lavender, it can also relieve the hangovers as well. So I would say it's a good essential oil to have in your kit. Pine is another essential oil that is often used in commercial cleaning materials or wood polishers as a scent. And without a doubt, it's definitely one of the best fresheners to clear unpleasant odors. Pine is also a good insect repellent. Pine has a warming and pain-killing action on painful joints and sore muscles, and this is a great oil to use for deep tissue massage and for blends for arthritis. Pine can also help with mental and adrenal exhaustion and any other kind of stress-related problems. So what are the properties, benefits, and uses? Pine essential oil is good for urinary infections, for any kind of skin infections. It's good for asthma, bronchitis, and if you apply it neat to the back of your kidneys, it can relieve adrenal stress. So it mixes well with all other citrus oils, especially cedarwood and cypress, and it's also nice with geranium lavender, and rosemary. I really like it. I like the scent. It's kind of like a clean scent. So what are the uses? As I have already mentioned, so if you apply 1 drop to your hands, rub them together, and then lay your hands at your lower back where your adrenals are located and hold for a minute. So this should relieve the stress and should give you a bit of a pick up. Also, you can use it as a moth repellent if you apply it to a little cushion or to like a piece of fabric, couple of drops, and put it in your closet. That will get rid of the moths. And as an air refreshener, so if you take like a bit of 50 ml vodka with 100 ml distilled water and 20 drops of pine, that will actually purify your air. So, do you need a pine essential oil in your kit? Well, if you have any kind of other oils like cedarwood or cypress or juniper, you probably do not. But it's a nice oil to have if you're making lots of cleaning products, and also if you're dealing with lots of urinary infections, then you should definitely include it into your kit. Rose is the flower of love and is reputed to be an aphrodisiac, and it's grown worldwide for its beauty and its fragrance. The oil is very expensive and it's also very labor intensive. It takes tons of rose petals just to produce 1 liter of oil. In aromatherapy, rose is primarily used for healing distressing states of mind such as depression and anxiety. Rose otto is a good female hormone balancer and has a specially toning effect on the uterus and can help ease painful periods and PMS. When used in the skincare, oil can rejuvenate sun-damaged and wrinkled skin and can help heal broken capillaries. Recently, the use in commercial cosmetics and perfumes has been restricted to only 0.3% to be used in the product. So be careful when you're buying rose-scented oils because they might actually contain chemical fragrance that can irritate then your skin. So be careful. What is the difference now between Rose Otto and Rose Absolute? Well, they pretty much have both the same properties, but Rose Otto is actually distilled, whereas Rose Absolute is solvent extracted and is mostly used in perfumery. Basically, Rose Absolute is considered inferior to Rose Otto. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? Rose, I just love rose. I have already said it's like you can just use rose as a perfume, and I have it actually included in a couple of my perfumes. Like rose is generally like a good nerve tonic. It's also good for reproductive organs. Also good for your skin. And it's a good hormone balance as well. It blends pretty much with all citrus oil, but it's really nice with bergamot, with cedarwood, chamomile, and Clary sage and frankincense. Rose Absolute is more like Rose Otto is the distilled oil from the petals, so it's more expensive usually because you need more flowers to get very little oil, and the Rose Absolute is more extracted basically from concentrate. So this is also like a nervous tonic, pretty much the same. It does pretty much the same as the Rose Otto, but it's considered not as good as the Rose Otto essential oil because it is an absolute, and absolutes are not often used in aromatherapy. So now, rose is very expensive, and you probably do not, geranium probably would do exact same thing. So if you're not making any perfumes, so there's not particularly a need for you to have like a rose. Unless you're feeling very spendy and have lots of space in your kit, you probably would not need this oil. Although it is gorgeous, but it is expensive and has like very limited uses. And as I said, geranium would do exactly the same what the rose does. Rosemary means sea dew. Romans and Greeks considered it to be a sacred plant, bringing peace and comfort. Rosemary is another adaptogenic oil like lavender, and it's good for many ailments. Rosemary is anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antiviral. This makes it a great oil for fighting off respiratory problems and respiratory infections and any kind of topical skin infection. This oil can also boost circulation, so it's a good oil for low blood pressure and also for if you always have cold hands and feet. It can also soothe sore muscles or any kind of aches and pains, especially when combined with a sports massage. And it also aids in detox and water retention by stimulating the lymphatic system. Rosemary can improve focus and clear the mind, and also has been used for Alzheimer's with some success. Rosemary is also good hair tonic, and it can make your hair grow thicker. So what are the properties, benefits, and uses? And we are looking at the chemical profile. It has 25% ketones, 30% monoterpenes, and 30% oxides, and 3% alcohols. Now, it has like a really large profile that actually has lots of chemical constituents. That just means it's a really good healing oil. Ketones generally are regarding as cooling, but they're not to be used on a long-term basis because they can be somewhat neurotoxic. But generally, ketones are regarded as analgesic, antiviral, decongestant, emmengogue, carminative, mucolytic, lipolytic, sedative, wound healing, and scar healing. And monoterpenes are full of antioxidants, are strongly antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, stimulating and soothing. And oxides are regarded also as a stimulant. So stimulant is generally, it speeds up any kind of body process. Rosemary is like one really important oil to have in your kit because it's used for lots of ailments. So what is it good for? So it's good for speech problems. So it's good as well as a muscle relaxant. It's a tonic to the heart and circulatory system. It's a tonic to the liver and gallbladder. It's good for fatigue, low blood pressure, muscular aches and pains, and it's stimulating to the central nervous system. So, but as I said, because it has lots of ketones, you should only use it in a small amount. So you should use it definitely with other blends. So like good oils to use would be like all the citrus oils. It's also nice with basil, cedarwood, coriander, frankincense, juniper, lavender, lemongrass, petitgreen, pine, and peppermint. So it's a really nice herbal aroma that you probably would know from your food stuff. It's good as well, like older people actually like the scent. It's a nice massage kind of scent. So what I like to use it for, it's good for hair tonics. So you probably have heard like rosemary really makes your hair like grow like longer and thicker. So you should definitely add a couple of drops to your shampoo or your conditioner. And as I said, it's really nice massage blend, especially combined with sweet thyme and lavender. And rosemary is also reputable to clear the mind, improve the memory, and relieve tiredness and jet lag. So if you can put like a couple of drops in a diffuser, or you could also use it in your oil burner. So, do you need this oil? It's absolutely yes. You cannot be an aromatherapist without having the rosemary in your kit, and I probably would not want to be without this oil. So, it's definitely a massive yes for me. Sage is derived from the Latin word salvare and means to save or to heal. Burning sage is often used in meditation rituals. It can help calm nerves, relieve stress, and improve focus. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? When we're looking at the sage essential oils, first thing that actually stands out from a chemical profile is that it has 35% ketones, 20% monoterpenes, 12% sesquiterpenes. It has also oxides and alcohols. So at first glance, it's telling me straight out this is a very stimulating essential oils. Monoterpenes are generally regarded as a stimulant and a strong one. And also, given it's a ketones, they're regarded as cooling essential oils. but also the analgesic, antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, carminative, mucolytic, lipolytic, sedative, wound healing, and scar healing. Also, straight away I can tell you this is not essential oils that you want to use on on a daily basis because of the ketone high ketone content, which can be neurotoxic, and also you should definitely not use this oil in pregnancy or on small children. But what is it good for? So it's good actually for the female reproductive system. It's also good for rheumatism and arthritis. It's a good to include for sore throat binds. It's also it's a tonic to the nervous system, and as I said, it's a mucolytic and expectorant, so really good for colds and flus or sore throats. And it's also good it's also in research for estrogen-based cancer, so definitely not oil to be used in pregnancy. It blends well with bergamot, lavender, lemon, and rosemary. It's really good for meditation on your oil burner to calm the nerves and clear the mind, and you can also use it in a mouthwash. So 1 drop sage and 1 teaspoon glycerin, 100 milliliter water, and you can just swish that in your mouth and use it as a mouthwash. It's really good actually for that. Do you need this oil in your aromatherapy kit? Probably not, because it is not really good everyday oil to use, and there's like a better oil to use as for sore throats. You're better off to use lavender or eucalyptus, or even clary sage would be more milder oil to have. But it's really good for meditative purposes. But that would be pretty much it. So now, do you need it? I would say probably not. I really like it for the scent and for the meditative purposes, and I use it mostly actually in my oil burner. But other than that, I never actually use this oil. So not a must-have. Sandalwood is usually used for cabinet making, and the offcuts and chips are then distilled into very expensive essential oil. Sandalwood has a long history in Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, and it's also one of the oils mentioned in the Bible, where the King Solomon was told by God to use sandalwood for making of the furniture, so that way the temple was always filled with the beautiful scent. Sandalwood incense is still burned in Buddhist temples and is used in meditation. So let's have a look what the sandalwood essential oil has in store for us. We're looking at the properties, benefits, and the best uses. When you're looking at the chemical profile, as usual, it's 80% alcohol, 10% sesquiterpenes, and 2.5% acid. So what is this selling? It's an alcohol. Alcohol is regarded as a stimulant. That just means it speeds up body processes that usually are good for skin. They have a nice pleasant scent, and they're good antibacterial oils. 10% sesquiterpenes. So sesquiterpenes are regarded as balancing and calming, so they're good. They're slightly hypotensive, meaning they reduce blood pressure, and they're good anti-inflammatory and astringent oils. Astringent means it shrinks tissues. It means it's just good for lines and wrinkles or anything that you want to shrink. Acids are generally regarded as calming and anti-inflammatory as well. So all in all, what can we say? It's a good oil to use for acne, dry, mature skin, and it's good for chronic coughs, and good for bronchitis, catarrhs, and sore throat. It's good for cystitis, and dispels anxiety and lifts depression, relieves stress, and aids with sleep, and brings peaceful feelings and comfort to your dying. I know it's an awful thing to say, but sandalwood is often used in incenses in meditation, so it kind of makes sense. It's also reputed to be an aphrodisiac, and especially for men. I have it actually in most of my perfumes, so this is definitely for a reason. It blends very well with most essential oils, especially bergamot and frankincense and rose and ylang. Very expensive oil, as mentioned already, because it's very labor intensive, and also there is not much of sandalwood left, so hence the high price tag. So for the time being, I would avoid it. You can use cedarwood instead. It kind of has like a similar properties because it is an endangered species. So this is what has to be said about the sandalwood. Do you need it in your aromatherapy kit? Not a must-have. Just even for the environmental reasons, so you can use cedarwood instead of sandalwood. It's kind of very similar in properties and also in the chemical profile. The aromatic marjoram is warming and relaxing oil, and it's known for its gentle sedative and calming effects onto the nervous system. Marjoram also can help relieve emotional trauma such as grief, loneliness, heartbreak, panic attacks, anxiety, and depression. It really has an affinity with the heart. Maybe it's because of the color green. You know, green is the heart chakra. Marjoram is also a mild painkiller, and it's great in relieving tension, headaches, and migraines, and it's really warming and decongestion action, can fight colds and flus, and can help clear sinuses and lung congestion, and it's also good for muscular spasms and any kind of muscular aches and pains, and it can also help ease like rheumatism and arthritis. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? When we're looking at the chemical profile oil, you can see it has a 50% alcohols and 40% monoterpene. So alcohols are regarded to be a stimulant. Just that means it increases like a body processes. And monoterpenes are generally full of antioxidants. They're strongly antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, and stimulating and soothing. And also a bit of esters. Esters are regarded as calming, uplifting, and balancing. And the sesquiterpenes are regarded as balancing and calming also. So it has like a good oil of a chemical constituents. So this is like a good oil to have for lots of different ailments. Good to release deep emotional trauma like grief and loneliness. So it's also good for bruises, high blood pressure, and it's also good for constipation and flatulence. It's good for muscular spasms and the muscular aches and pains. And it's really calming to the nervous central system. It blends very well with bergamot, chamomile, coriander, cypress, cedarwood, eucalyptus, and lavender. Let's have a look what I like to use it for. So it's really good oil to, you know, if you're heartbroken, just add a couple of oils to a diffuser, and this will just really keep you calm, and you know, it's like a good friend with a nice hug just to comfort you. For abdominal pains, for example, you can add 1 drop of Marjoram essential oil to 5 milliliters of sweet almond oil or grapeseed oil, and massage over the stomach, and this will relieve the cramps. And it's also a good oil to relieve headaches and migraines. So if you apply 1 drop essential oils to your palm and just sweep it over your forehead and neck, that will just actually release the tension as well. So sweet Marjoram oil is really good oil to have in your kit, and you probably, if you're a aromatherapist, you definitely, this cannot be missing from your kit as it's so versatile. So you need definitely this oil in your kit. It's a must-have. I insist. Sweet orange oil is mostly known for its uplifting and worry-reducing properties. It's very cheerful, but at the same time also calming. Sweet orange oil is a great mood enhancer and a relaxant at the same time. What are the properties, benefits, and uses? So, when you're looking at chemical profile, you can see it's 85% monoterpenes, and the rest is alcohols, aliphatic aldehydes, and a bit of a ketones. So monoterpenes are generally regarded as stimulant. That just means it speeds up any kind of body functions. They're a good tonic, like a general tonic, and they're good air antiseptics and good decongestants. So what is it for? What is it mostly used for? So it's a good as an antidepressant, antiseptic, carminative, galagogue, and lymphatic stimulant. It's not phototoxic like other citrus essential oils, and also the dried sweet orange peel is used in Chinese medicine. It blends very well usually with all other essential oils, and this is also a good oil actually to add if your blend is a little bit off. Couple of drops of sweet orange oil just kind of balances the blend. And also if you're using like kind of heavier oils like a frankincense, myrrh and rock rose, they kind of just lift the heaviness out of the oil. But other than that, I just don't particularly use the sweet orange oil. So if you have any other citrus oils in your kit, you particularly do not need the sweet orange oil. But if you have lots of space, it's a very inexpensive oil, so you can have it, but it's not a must-have. Thyme is widely used as a culinary and as a medicinal herb, and depending where is it grown, sweet thyme can actually produce different chemotypes, and I will be talking to you about this later. For example, like sweet thyme is a chemotype linalool, which is a gentle oil and suitable for everyday use, for example. And sweet thyme has also a warming effect. It can boost circulation, relieve sore joints and muscles, so it's really good oil to use in muscle blends. Sweet thyme is also great antiseptic and can help clear and loosen stubborn phlegm, and when applied to the throat and chest ointments, for example. Sweet thyme is also a great tonic for the nervous system and can really help clear and refresh the mind. Red thyme has pretty much the same effect as the sweet thyme, but it's a stronger oil which is really rich in phenols, and you really would be using red thyme on once off for its strong pain-killing properties. Generally, red thyme is not available to public, and you really have to be aromatherapist to get this oil on into your hand. Red thyme is definitely not suitable for elderly or for kids, and it really should be used as well with caution in pregnancy. This oil really can irritate your skin, so really use with caution. So what is the sweet thyme good for? What are the properties, benefits and uses? So let's have a look. Sweet thyme oil is a good antibacterial oil. It's an immunostimulant, so it's also a tonic to the nervous system. It's good for arthritis and circulation and eczema. So it's really good for muscular blends as well. It blends very well with bergamot, clove, eucalyptus, lavender, and pine. And sage as well. What can you use it for? So as I said, I really love it to use mostly if I have sore muscles and joints. So if you add 5 drops sweet thyme oil and sweet marjoram and 5 drops lemon essential oil, so this will actually make like a really nice soothing muscle blend, and it's good also for aromatic kind of blends as well. At the thyme essential oil, and this oil is actually mostly supposed to be used by aromatherapists because it's a really strong oil, and it's really high in phenols, and you definitely don't want to use this oil on a daily basis. It's a powerful antiseptic, so it's really good for sore throats, infections, but as I also said, it can irritate the skin. So it blends well with bergamot, clove, eucalyptus, lavender, and pine. So when do you want to use it? So it's really good if you want to relieve a sore throat. So red thyme is like a really good sore throat reliever. So if you mix like 1 drop with sage and 1 drop of thyme red in 5 ml honey and then just gargle that will definitely soothe like the sore throat infection. It will help up with the healing. So definitely not an oil to be used on a daily basis, but it's absolutely amazing for sore throats or for any kind of viral infection, because it is a powerful antiseptic. Now it's a very difficult oil to find as well, so you probably will be only able to get it if you're like a aromatherapist, but not to be used on an everyday basis. Like sweet thyme oil can be used on a daily basis, but red thyme only when it's really needed. So, do you need a sweet thyme? Yes, sweet thyme is really nice oil. It's really uplifting and relaxing. And definitely should have, every aromatherapist should have a sweet thyme in their aromatherapy in the kit. Red thyme, it's only emergencies only. Tagetes essential oil is not often used in aromatherapy. In fact, I only ever use it for rats or any kind of food infections, be it viral, fungal, or bacterial. Tagetes also can treat bunions and corns. The oil has also mild sedative effect. It can help calm nerves and ease anxiety and panic attacks. Tagetes essential oil is also an excellent insect repellent, and it will repel flies and mosquitoes. Properties, benefits, and uses. When we're looking at the Tagetes essential oils from a chemical profile, you can see it's 50% ketones and 35% monoterpenes. With 55% ketones, it tells me immediately this is not an everyday oil. Ketones are generally considered to be highly antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, choleric, carminative, mucolytic, lipolytic, sedative, and wound healing. So really good oil, but only to be used for a short period of time, because they can be neurotoxic with prolonged use. So what is the Tagetes used for? So it's good antifungal, athlete's food for corns and bunions, but as I said, only to be used in small doses because it's highly phototoxic, and you should definitely avoid exposure to the sun for at least 24 hours. Blends, I don't have any blends with, so I usually would really use it for any kind of fungal infections, so be it in the face, be it like anywhere on the body. So it's an oil that's kind of a little bit pungent as well. So what you can use it for, like, if you have like want to treat like a warts or athlete's foot. So if you add to 5 drops to 20 milliliters of aloe vera gel and then apply directly to the area, so that should actually get rid of the athlete's foot. It's also, you can also use it for warts, warts. They're usually like a viral infection. It's a really good antiviral oil. Now, do you need to have this oil in your kit? If you're massaging lots of feet, then I probably definitely would include that, because everyone at some point of time had some kind of fungal or viral infection on their feet or hands. So it's not a bad oil to have, because you would probably not need it often. So it's a good oil definitely to have, but not easily available. You should only get it like from a specialized aromatherapy supplier. I have it, and as I said, I use it mostly for antifungal purposes. Tea tree is mostly famous for being Australian cure-it-all medical tree, and is extensively used in Aboriginal medicine. Tea tree is definitely a good first aid remedy, and it's often used in surgical and dental practices due to its strong antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties. Tea tree is also a powerful immunostimulant, and it can really help fight colds and flus, and especially when steam inhaled. Due to its strong antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties, tea tree is especially helpful for acne or athlete's foot or cold sores, insect bites, warts and wounds, so all of those nasty things. Don't even wish your worst enemy, really. It has also strong deodorizing action. It can help combat body odors. Be used for bad breath, mouth ulcers, and sore gums. Tea tree is probably also very renowned to be used as a first aid for the pimples, and it's often actually used as oil in acne products. Tea tree is also good for it's a good hair tonic, so it's especially good if you have greasy hair and greasy roots like me. So, and it really gets as well rid of dandruff, so you can definitely use it for that. Kakaput has like a milder aroma, but it has pretty much the same benefits and properties as the tea tree. And just like a tea tree, it's an excellent decongestant and has really strong antiseptic properties, and it can fight colds and flus. Kakaput can also promote sweating, so it really adds in removal from toxins, and So it's a good oil as well to use if you're doing any kind of detox. Cacaput is also a cooling oil, so it can really bring down the fevers. And when used in skincare, it can actually brighten dull complexion. It really helps heal blemished skin. Neroli is probably the mildest of all the tea trees and is actually reputed and known actually to be used on children and on elderly and also people with sensitive skin, because tea tree is a really strong oil. It can also increase concentration and enhance focus, and also it clears the head and lifts the spirit. It's also good pain relief and is good for all aches and pains, and when used in massage blends it can really stimulate sluggish circulation. So when we're looking at the profile of a tea tree or essential oil, you can see it's like a 45% of alcohol, 41% monoterpene, 7% oxides, and 6% sesquiterpene. So it's a good all-around oil for to be used for many ailments. Alcohols generally are regarded as a stimulant, so that means like they speed up body functions, and monoterpenes or terpenes, they are regarded also as a stimulant, so they're good general tonic, good antiseptic, and they're also decongestant. Oxides, they're also regarded as stimulants. So you can see it's a very stimulating oil. So it means it improves or speeds up any kind of body process. So what is it used for? So it's a good first aid kit and protection. So you definitely have to have this in your first aid. This is like an oil that you would usually use on its own for its medicinal purpose. You wouldn't like really making any kind of blends, because it doesn't really have like a nice scent that you would be adding to any kind of blend to make it like, like a nice aroma for your room. It's really like just, one of those oils where you need the job to get done, and usually tea tree does that. What is it good for? Really, like as I said, you can use all of these. So it's really good for colds and flus. This is pretty much the only time I really use it. If you add a couple of drops during steam inhaler, it's also first aid remedy to rinse wounds. So if you mix 5 drops of tea tree with 100 milliliter witch hazel and then just clean the wound with it. Also, first aid remedy, you can just neatly, usually you will not apply any kind of essential oils neatly on your skin, but with tea tree you can make an exception. So you can apply 1 drop of tea tree if you put it on your cotton bud, and then just like dab the pimple, and that should actually dry up after 2 or 3 days. And also it's an acne remedy, so that you can apply daily to get rid of the acne, or to it will definitely help to get rid of the acne. So it's like 45 milliliter aloe vera gel, 5 milliliter jojoba oil, and 3 drops of tea tree. You see, I use it usually in smaller doses because I don't like to irritate the skin more, because usually acne would be like already like a broken skin and you want to heal the skin. Like applying any kind of excess amount of essential oils will just irritate the skin. So that's no good. So do you need all of these? No, as I have said, one of these is good enough. I probably would suggest you get the Neroli, because it's a milder one and can be used on elderly and children. But if you just have any of the other tea trees, they're pretty much kind of do all the same job. Vetiver is known as the oil of tranquility and has a profoundly grounding and calming effect for those who are emotionally distressed and suffer from anxiety, panic attacks, nervous tension, and stress. Vetiver is also natural sedative and can promote peaceful sleep. Vetiver has a cooling action, and it's a good oil to use on sunburns and also sunstrokes, and it can really relieve tension headaches as well. Vetiver has also really good wound healing properties. It's very good for cuts and scars, and it can really grow new tissue. It's especially good for dry and mature skin due to its deeply hydrating effect. Properties, benefits, and uses. So what is Vetiver essential oil used for? So when you're looking at the chemical profile, it has a 45% alcohol and 15% ketones. Immediately, this is an oil that must be used with caution because of the high ketone content. Ketones are regarded to be cooling, but they're also good analgesic. Means painkiller. They have pain-killing properties. They're antiviral, antifungal. They're congestant, carminative, mucolytic, lipolytic, sedative, and wound healing. So really good oil, but only to be used on a short term. But also has like 45% alcohol. Alcohols are considered to be stimulants. They're generally good skin oils, and they have like a nice scent, and they're antibacterial oils. So that kind of balances it out. The oil is actually known as oil of tranquility, so it's a really nice and grounding oil. So it's good for relaxing the nervous system. It's a good skin tonic. It's hydrating, especially for dry and dehydrated skin, and it's a good antidepressant. So it mixes well with all citrus oils, with cedarwood, clary sage, ginger, lavender, jasmine, patchouli, rose, sandalwood, and ylang. So what can you use it for? So I like to use it to promote calm and sleep in a diffuser oil burner. So if you mix it with Roman chamomile, basil, and vetiver, it's a really nice smell. If you want to deeply hydrate your skin, so add like 5 drops to like any kind of base cream or jojoba oil or any kind of oil that you like, and then just massage your skin. That will definitely add hydration to your skin. So now the $1 million question: do you need this oil in your kit? I would say this is a good oil to have. It's really nice and calming, and it's really grounding, especially for people who have like anxieties and who are depressed or sleeping issues. So it's a good oil to have, and I would say as a good aromatherapist, you need this oil in your kit. Ylang means flower of the flower and is a renowned aphrodisiac and a popular ingredient in perfumery. There are several grades of ylang available, and I always use a higher priced label or labeled as ylang extra. Other grades are just usually like less refined, and they really lack the creamy richness of the essence. I find the scent of ylang can be really overpowering, so really start with maybe 1 drop or in small doses, because it can really overpower your blend very, very quickly, and the oil can increase the feeling of well-being. Its calming properties can also lower blood pressure and breathing rates, and in turn this can reduce panic attacks and anxiety. Ylang is absolutely amazing for skin and hair. It can really deeply nourish and hydrate brittle, dry hair, and when used in face creams, it can really improve the appearance of tired and sagging skin. Ylang is also hormonal balancing oil, and it can also improve hormonal acne, for example. Properties, benefits, and uses. So let's have a look. What are the uses for ylang? So when we're looking at the chemical profile, it has like 40% sesquiterpenes, 20% alcohol, 10% phenols, and 15% esters. So sesquiterpenes are regarded as balancing and calming. Alcohols are regarded to be a stimulant. They're good for skin. They have a nice scent to them, and they're good antibacterial oils. And phenols, well, these are definitely not, also really strong stimulants, but definitely not to be used on a everyday basis, and definitely should not be used in pregnancy or when breastfeeding, or definitely not to be used on babies or children. But generally they're good antioxidants, and they're highly antiseptic. They're antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, they're nerve stimulant, and they're generally good tonic. But as I said, to be used with caution. So what can you do with ylang? So it's a good hormonal balancing oil. So it's good for anxiety and depression. It's good for high blood pressure because it really slows. It also slows the heart rate down. It's good for insomnia. It's also good for oily and aging skin, but it's also good for hair. It blends well with all the citrus oils, cedarwood, chamomile, and jasmine, rose, and sandalwood. And it's also considered to be like aphrodisiac, and it's often used in perfume. So what can you use it for? So the best way to use ylang ylang, of course, is to use it in a perfume. So I have like a little recipe for you that you can actually then make your own perfume. So like 1 drop of ylang ylang, 2 drops of jasmine, 5 drops of sandalwood, and you put it into jojoba oil or the perfumer's alcohol. You can also use vodka, and then you can just apply it to your wrists or wherever you want your perfume on. You can also use it in skin care or hair care. So if you add 5 drops to answer shampoo to restore dry and brittle hair, and you can also add 5 drops to your base cream or jojoba oil to tone the sagging skin and restore youthful glow. This is not probably one of those essential oils that you must have in your kit, but it's a really nice oil to have. It is slightly bit expensive, but it lasts you quite long, so because you only need a small dose. I probably would recommend you get one. I absolutely love ylang ylang. I use ylang ylang extra because I also make perfumes. So an ylang ylang extra is kind of made more for the perfume industry as for aromatherapy, and they are slightly more expensive. I buy ylang ylang for the scent. So if you're not using it for perfumes, you can just get the regular ylang ylang. So a definitely must have from me.